Welcome to another episode of Purpose Conversations, where we celebrate the journeys, the challenges, and the triumphs of empowered women who have turned their purpose into thriving businesses. And tonight, I'm not alone. I'm with yet another amazing woman who is empowered, who have turned her purpose into a thriving business, and she's none other but Nkanyezi Kabemba, the owner, the CEO of Somona Guest House, and the author of a powerful book titled The Hero You've Been Waiting For. I am thrilled to have this woman with me on the show tonight, and I believe that her story is going to inspire you because it is yet another story of triumph. It's another story of a woman who actually faced the challenges in life and she was able to turn these challenges into an amazing business and into a powerful book. She is an entrepreneur. She is a proud owner of Somona Guest House and the author of that powerful book that is making waves titled The Hero You've Been Waiting For. I'm sure you want to hear more from her about that hero that you are having within yourself. This book is all about exploring that hero within ourselves, finding that strength and that courage that we have lost sight of. Today, we are going to dive straight into that journey and what it means to be the hero of your own life. Please join me tonight in welcoming our wonderful guest, Nkanyezi Kabemba.
Good evening, Dr. Mabel. Good evening to the listeners. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. I am also excited to have you tonight. I know that you're going to shake us a little bit, with your book to tell us to tap into that hero that is within us. But before we dive into the inspiring themes of your book, The Hero You've Been Waiting For, I would love for you to share briefly with us about your entrepreneurial journey. What inspired you to start Somona Guest House?
Okay, we started Somona Guest House because we noticed that we are strategically positioned in Sandton, close to Sandton Convention Center, Sandton City, JSE, you name it. We saw that we really close to, economy hive of Sandton. So we said, why not start a guest house where we can host people who are coming to these venues?
Wow. So you're saying a position, a place is very much important to build a thriving business.
Definitely, definitely.
Wow, this is truly inspiring because I know your guest house. I've been there, and even before it was started, I remember we worked together. You were just introducing me to the company, making sure that I know what is happening around there. And before I know it, I think it was a month or two, and then you were already saying, "Hey, I'm leaving." And during lunch hours, we will go out to go and buy some, nice things for your guest house. So this is truly inspiring, particularly for me because when I met you, the guest house was not there. And when you were going to buy those little things that you need to use for your guest house, I was with you during our lunch hours, which tells us that anything is possible. If you focus on it, if you want to do it, you can actually do it. So this is very much inspiring, that you have built that welcoming, you've created that welcoming space that has accommodated people from all over the world. Now, it's not about Somona Guest House tonight. Let's shift a little bit to your book, The Hero You've Been Waiting For. This book is centered on the idea that each one of us has got the hero within. How powerful is this? We have the hero within. Can you share with us what inspired you to write this powerful book and how you discovered the hero within yourself?
Okay, thank you so much. So, as you said, that I ran a guest house of my own. So, running my own business gave me space to venture into other things like coaching and mentoring. So, during my coaching space, that's where I met people who were waiting for someone to come and rescue them. And, no matter how much coaching you were doing, they were not shifting. They were just waiting for someone to come and rescue. So this book is giving strategies of how to notice the hero within yourself and to move yourself forward. Because let me tell you, no one is coming for you.
Yeah.
And for me to discover the hero within myself, actually, I think I started discovering the hero within myself from a very young age because of the way we were brought up. My father used to run a business and he used to tell us that there's nothing that we can't do. So I think from a very young age, I develop that self belief because the hero within you, first, you have to recognize the self belief within yourself and recognize that who you want to be will not come from material gain, but from developing yourself.
Wow. 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 That is so powerful. I know there's a lot of people that are waiting for someone to come and rescue them. They are waiting and waiting for a brother, sister, uncle, auntie, family member, friend. And if you don't come to rescue them because they're expecting you to do it for them, they get mad. They're angry that, oh,
Definitely.
you have Somona guest house, you're making money. You have a book now, you're making money. I'm your sister, come and rescue me. And, if you're not able to do that, find that there's no good relationships between friends and family because they are looking for help. So you are saying, stop looking for someone to come rescue you. Rescue
Yes,
yourself because the hero is right within you. What a
exactly.
powerful, powerful book. Yes.
Because when you're waiting for somebody to rescue you, you're actually
Mhm.
putting responsibility on somebody's shoulders. And
Yes.
usually, people who don't take responsibility for themselves, they blame other people. And I usually say the minute you can realize that when you blame other people, you're actually taking your power away. You can't do anything if someone has got to resolve something for you. Therefore, recognize that you have the power to do it yourself, take responsibility, and change your life.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And we have seen such people. We have seen them. Sometimes you ask yourself, what is it that is wrong that I've done? And according to them, is that you have ignored them, you're not rescuing them, you're not helping them, and only to find that you are also facing your own things, you are facing your own challenges, but they are very much angry with you that you are not coming through for them. But we all have got to rise to the occasion and do something. And I think
Definitely.
this is the core of, the core of the message in this book, the core of your message to say, rise up and explore, the hero that is within you. And in this book,
Exactly.
you are emphasizing how life experiences that lies within us, that lies ahead of us, the life experiences that we have experienced, that they can help us to actually identify the hero that is within us. Okay, Nkanyezi Kabemba, this is
Yeah.
amazing. This is amazing. So, if you were to give us the core message of this book in one sentence, what would you say it is? What are you wanting to tell people about this book?
Um, Life is about perspective. So if
Yeah,
people can look into their lives and stop making excuses of
yes,
why I don't have the things that I want, why I'm not where I want to be,
mm,
stop making excuses and make things happen for yourself. For
right,
example, in the book, I give examples of people who have faced challenges and overcome their challenges. And one of the ways that heroes speak about their history, they don't see themselves as victims, but they see themselves as victors. Because when you tell your story in a way that empowers you, you find that you can't move forward. But if you
mm,
see your story, your challenges, I mean, if you're still here today and you've gone through the hardship that you've gone through, it means
mm,
you're a hero. So you have to recognize that in spite of the challenges, you are here today. You're not a victim. And
yes.
start from there and move forward.
Wow. Wow. So basically, you are saying it is important for us to reconnect with that part of ourselves. We need to reconnect with that part of ourselves. And when we have reconnected, life begins. Life
It
begins
does
at the
begin.
point of reconnecting with that part that we have actually forgotten about ourselves, because we are heroes.
We are
This is
heroes.
this is really powerful. So the societal pressures also, they often distance us from our true selves. A lot of people don't know how to deal with these societal pressures. Since I started to reign in your Purpose Academy, and I teach people how to decode their stories, good, bad, ugly, their successes and their failures. I have learned that the pressures of life are very much important and key to our success. But a lot of people don't know that. And a lot of people want to remain in the pain that they've been through, the pain of rape, the pain of divorce, the pain of being rejected. A lot of people want to stay there, or it's either they stay there, or they take that pain and they shove it under the carpet. They don't even want to talk about that pain, without knowing that everything works together for our good. Whatever that happened in my life, good, bad, or ugly, my successes, my failures, all of those things, they are very much important. I think God sometimes allow these things so that we can come to the point of discovering this hero that is within us. Because come to think of it, how many
Exactly.
battles have we fought and won?
Exactly. Exactly. And um, the battles themselves, they are like stepping stones, that moves you
Mm,
forward. And the
mm,
most important thing also about dealing with your pain and getting healing so that you can move forward. Um, in my book, I quote Dr. Anita Phillip, who says that you have to heal the child within you so that you can deal with the child in front of you. That is why you
mm.
find that in society, you find that people are forever transferring the pain that they're feeling within themselves, dysfunctional families from generation to generation, because we don't heal. And we are waiting for someone to come and rescue us instead of healing our own pain, being whole, so that we can be able to move forward.
Wow, wow, that is so amazing, because now if you are able to deal with the child or heal the child within you, then you are able to deal with the child that is facing you. That is a really a powerful statement right there. So how do you suggest to the readers, how do you suggest that the readers can begin to strip away, those layers of our, our life pressures and rediscover their inner hero?
The basic thing, life is meant to be simple. The basic thing
Mm,
in life is to realize that you have a choice. You have a
mm,
choice
mm.
of how you tell your story.
Yeah.
Someone who is raped can use their story because they told their story, they found healing, and they can tell their story to empower other women to say, look, I've been through this and this is where I am today.
Mm,
And other people can choose to say, this has happened to me, feel sorry for me. One thing I like about Joyce Meyer, she says, you cannot be pitiful and powerful. You have to decide
mm. Yeah.
if you are going to invite people to see your wound, sit with you in your corner. You have to realize, yes, we do recognize that painful things have happened to us. We cannot deny
Yeah.
that. But you cannot stay there forever. And when you are
Mm,
telling your story, what is your aim of telling your story? Are you telling your story so that you can solicit pity? But pity will make sure that you remain there. But if you're telling
mm,
your story so that first you can heal and move forward and build other people, because people will be empowered to say, oh, okay, she comes from Soweto. It means I also come from a township. It means it's possible also for me. So we tell our story so that people can be inspired by
mm.
what we do and where we find ourselves today.
Yeah. That is so true. And I think that, telling stories also helps with a personal growth. The more you tell your story, the more you grow. I'm not telling my story the way I used to tell it before. Like you're saying, before when I started, I told my story, and it was a story that is full of pain. I was just releasing pain. I was
Mm,
not able to show people how this story that I'm telling have changed my life. I was not able to tell how this story has transformed my life. And once I managed to tell my story in a better way, because I told my story many, many, many times. And when I go back and I read, there's a book that I wrote, and I actually did not even publish that book because it was more about my life story, everything that all the painful things that happened to me. And when I went into
mm,
that book and read it, I was like, I don't want people to read this. I don't want people to know all of these details. And some of the details
mm,
were very gross. And I was like, I'm not telling my story right, you know? And then I changed.
mm,
Then I think in that process, I learned, and this is what I'm teaching my students, how to tell their stories, how to decode the story, and how to tell their stories. Because we need to tell the stories of triumph and not stories of defeat. When you are
it's
telling a
true.
story of pain, you are looking for pity. But when you are telling us a story that shows how you navigated through your pain, I always say to people, I learned how to navigate through pain, pursued purpose, and and turned my pain into power and profits. By the way, the statement of turning pain to power is my original statement. Actually, I'm the owner of that statement. But when you are just saying things on the social platforms and stuff like that, other people grab those things and they make them their own. But I do have witnesses. All my students, they know this is the statement that I've always been telling them, that I want you to be able to turn your pain to power and
Mm,
profit. I've been through that process, and I'm able to show other people how to navigate through, not necessarily giving them the recipe of navigating through, but giving them the tools that they can use to navigate through their painful stories of life, and not even forgetting their successes, because we also need to tell the
Exactly.
stories of success. We have not
Very
always
true.
been in pain, we have succeeded, and we have also
Yeah.
succeeded in overcoming that pain. So why, this is the statement that makes me talk too much, that you said, that Joyce Meyer said, you can't be pitiful and powerful. If you want to be powerful, stop being pitiful.
Exactly. Exactly. And then from your statement of turning your pain to power, what I can also add from there, what I want to show people is that it's not what happened to you that makes you who you are. It's the
All right.
decisions that you make
Mm,
from what happened to
mm,
you. Because
mm.
two people can experience the same thing and not make the
Yeah.
same decisions. So I say, the difference is the person, what you do as a person.
Mm,
um, it's very, very important. For example,
right.
you have two people who are raised in a alcoholic family where they have both parents who are drunkards. One comes out and say, me, I was, my parents were both drunkards, therefore I'm also a drunkard, And then the other one says, my parents were drunkards, I don't want to be a drunkard. So I say, it's
Mm,
not the situation that makes you who you are. If two
yeah.
people can come from the same situation differently,
Mm.
then it means it's not the situation, are the decisions that you
Oh
make
my
about
God.
how you're going to come out of that situation.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. And when you say that, I am already, you know, uh, um, picturing myself where I come from, and how we've gone through a lot of things in our family. And now when you talk about decision, I'm looking and I'm like, oh, now I understand what made me to be where I am,
Mm-hmm.
is because of the decisions that I made, you know, and what makes another person from the same family to be where they are is because of the decision that they made. So it's not necessarily the situation, it is the decisions that you are making when you are going through that situation. And you're not going to sit and say, oh, my father was a drunkard, so I'm going to stay here and be a drunkard and feel okay about it because your father was also doing the same, as if being an alcoholic is healthy. As if being an alcoholic is a calling. You're called to be an alcoholic.
Yes, there comes a time in life, maybe as a
Mm,
child, you couldn't make decisions because, you didn't know better. But there comes a
right,
time in life when you are big,
right.
you are mature, you need to make your own
Mm,
decisions. There are people who will
mm,
say, I don't have a matric today
yeah.
because my parents, they didn't pay for me, we didn't have money at home. A 50-year-old saying that, I mean, how
Mm,
many years have passed from you getting that matric certificate? And now, how many people have gone online, gotten certificates and whatever they needed to get because they wanted to, you know? So for
mm,
me, all the things that we're not getting, really, it's excuses. And once
definitely.
we have excuses, it's difficult to take action. Heroes
Yeah.
take action. Heroes take action.
Mm.
They don't
Heroes
make
take
excuses.
action. Yeah.
They take action. Yeah. They
Right.
make decisions and they take action. They need
Wow.
what needs to be done.
Mm. Wow.
Mm.
What is really standing out for me here is the decision making process, you know. Um, I know there's a lot of people that have gone through the same challenge that you and I have gone through, right? But those
Yeah.
people are telling themselves, life is not good for me, life is a mess. God doesn't love me. God allowed me to go through this. Therefore, I'm just going to go and sit under the bridge, or I'm going to eat from the dustbins, because life delivered me lemons. And
Mm-hmm.
yet, life did the same to Nkanyezi and Mabel. It brought us
Mm-hmm.
lemons in,
Mm-hmm.
one way or the other in our journeys of life.
Yes.
Life, but trucks and trucks of lemons. But we did not sit there with those lemons and say, "Oh, these lemons are bitter," and and then we started being bitter ourselves, and we kick everybody
Mm-hmm.
around us because life delivered us lemons and they are bitter, and we treat everybody bad around us. But we said, what can we do with these lemons? And we did what most people will say, that take those lemons and turn them into lemonade. we took
Definitely.
we took our lemons, you know, eh, eh, no matter how many lemons were delivered, we took them and we turned them into lemonade, and we made our life sweet. Even though it's not like life is a bed of roses, everything is nice every day. We still meet challenges. Lemons are still delivered, but we have learned the art of taking that lemon and turn it into lemonade.
Definitely. Definitely. When people sit and feel pity for themselves, um, they, when we talk about decisions, what I've learned is that it's not only bad decisions that can take you backwards, it's also lack of taking decisions.
All
You
right.
see that things are not right, but you're not
Mm,
taking any decision to correct your situation.
mm.
So
You
lack
know,
of taking decisions can also
yes.
impact your life. Yeah.
I'm thinking about something funny here, that, by the way, if I don't take a decision to do something about my life, I'm still making a decision, right?
Mhm.
I'm still
Yeah.
making a decision not to do anything about it. So all what we are saying here is that make a good decision, a decision that will
Definitely.
move you forward, a decision that will move
Definitely.
you from point A to point B.
And be
Not a
definitely
decision that keeps you at the
where
same
you
place
are.
where you
Mm,
are, because it is possible that you can move from where you are to the next level. All you need is to make a good decision and stop making excuses.
exactly. So, one other thing that people lie to themselves about is to say, I'm the only one who is suffering. I'm the only one who is, going through this. And yet I say, you know what? Pain is universal.
Right.
Everybody feels pain. It just depends on what do you do when you experience that pain.
Mm,
You know? Yeah.
mm. Very universal. I remember when
Mm.
I was wrestling with God, I always tell my students that I wrestled with God, because for me, I wanted God to give me answers, that ever since I was born, I've been going through a lot. When am I going to be happy like everybody else? When I look at people in my mind,
Mhm.
I told myself that, Nkanyezi is doing well. Everything is okay
Mhm.
with her. She's always smiling. She's always peaceful. She's always cool, cool as you are. And, you find that you're going through a lot of things, maybe even worse than myself. So when I was asking God and wrestling with God and fighting with God, the Lord showed me that there's a reason for me to go through what I'm going through. And I'm not the only person that is going through things. Everybody else is. And
Exactly.
unfortunately, people are thinking, I'm the only one who's going through this
And
situation.
and what I love about that word, going through, what you will
Mm,
realize is that people are not going through. They're stuck. Going
yeah,
through, it means you are going, you'll get to the other side. It means you
yes,
are working with your issues, you
right.
know. So
Mm,
people are really not going through. They say they are going through and they're not. They're stuck. When you're
mm,
going through, you are guaranteed that you will get to the other side. So I said to people, go through then, just go through, you know, work with your issues because
mm,
people tend to think that if they don't face their issues, they will go away and they won't. But you need to
mm,
face your issues so that you can deal with
yeah,
them, so that you can go through and really go through and get to the other side, you know.
mm. That's very
Yeah.
true. The words that we are using, I'm going through a lot. Navigate, go through it. You've got to go through it. You've got to navigate through it and get onto the other side. So if you are saying you're going through a lot, but you are sitting there and you're not moving forward, it means you are stuck through. You are stuck in that
In.
situation.
You're stuck in.
You are stuck in that
And
situation, you know?
that is why people, they don't experience happiness, they don't experience joy
Yeah.
because they are
Mm,
stuck,
right.
They don't
Mm,
give, because as you said earlier on, that problems will always come. But if
mm,
you don't go through this problem and get to the other side, get to breathe, get to relax before the next problem come, you will find
yes,
yourself,
yes.
you are in this problem, and before you
Yeah.
solve it, there's another problem, because you don't navigate, you don't teach yourself about yourself. What is it that in yourself that you keep on doing that keep on attracting this kind of a problem? Or when we are given challenges, is to say, what can I learn from this challenge? What can
Mm,
I benefit from this challenge?
yeah.
I find people tell me, like, I'm in an NGO where people are being trained to become entrepreneurs. You find people who say, I've always wanted to work for myself. They
Yeah.
get retrenched. They get
Mm-hmm.
retrenched. And then they get angry with God. How is God going to create an opportunity for you to work for yourself when you are employed? I mean, they say one thing, and I say we need consciousness. That's one other thing, because people say one thing and they want something else. When one thing
Mm,
happens that they say they want, they can't recognize it. They get angry with God,
mm,
So people
mm,
are not connected with their wishes, with their words, with their thoughts. They're so
mm,
disconnected. They want something, and when something happens that is leading to where they want to be, they get surprised.
mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so true. So when I left my 9 to 5, I prepared myself. I did everything. I was, saving money and doing a lot of things. And I told myself, I want um, to deal with all my debts and make sure that all my debts are cancelled and stuff like that. I've paid up all my debts, and I was left with a very little amount of money on the bond. When I left my 9 to 5, I was left with a very little amount of money on my small car. The other cars were paid up, and I looked at that and I said, okay, even after I've left my job, I'll be able to pay this amount that I left in 2 years, and everything will be gone. I will be debt free. And
Mhm.
I was positioning myself to become a millionaire. I was like in the after I've killed those two debts that I'm gonna do in 2 years. After that, I'm working towards becoming a millionaire. And I did talk to God about it, that I want to be a millionaire, billionaire, and I want
Mm.
to be debt free. And I worked towards making sure that I'm debt free and I'm positioning myself as a millionaire. And I had a target to say by this particular year, I'm going to be a millionaire. Guess what happened? I'm just trying
Mm.
to emphasize what you just said, that a person wants to start their own business, but then they get retrenched. They ask God, I want my own business. But then God,
Yeah.
gives them a situation where they need to go now and start their own business. And now when they're supposed to go, they're crying, oh my God, I lost my job. They're stressing, but they wanted to start their own jobs. So for me, when I was looking at becoming a millionaire, my friend, I lost everything. I lost everything. I lost
Mm.
all the properties we had. I mean, my house was just owing 70,000 rands. Not that I couldn't pay it, but the situation, the
Mm.
will that we had with the bank said if one of us die, the bank will appoint an executor. That line was like it kicked me out altogether, and I lost everything that I had. I was almost going to be someone that stays under the bridge. I did not know what to do. I was told I cannot have a bank account. I cannot work. I was sequestrated. I was told I cannot
Mm.
even have a business. And I started living. I made a decision, the decision that we are talking about. I made a decision and I looked for other ways and other strategies of being who I am today, and not allow that situation to make me who I was. And I realized, I often tell people that you must be, not that you must be careful, but pay attention to what you are asking from God. If you say to God, I want to be a millionaire, God is going to allow a situation that is going to strip you of everything
Yeah.
that you have, so that you can learn how to become a millionaire, so that you can learn how to build yourself up from zero. You know it well. You know it
Yeah.
well that I was
Mm.
building myself
Mm.
up from zero. You are one of those people that would send me money because I'm struggling.
And
you
and
know?
and and what I know for sure is that
Mhm.
your goals, your financial goals are yet to come true
Yeah,
because our timing, God's timing is not our timing,
not our
you know.
timing. Yeah.
And
Mm.
that's another thing that heroes have to realize, that when
Right.
you are navigating and going through towards your destiny, you mustn't lose hope, because
Yeah.
in your mind you have said, by this time, when I'm
Right.
50, for example, I
Yeah.
must have a car or I must have this million. Sometimes it's not up to us. And it does
Yeah.
not mean that it's not happening or it's not going to happen. You know, let's
Mm.
remove the time frame, because the time frame is not up to us, and most of the
Right.
time this is something that discourage many people, to say,
Yeah.
by this time I thought I would be driving this kind of a car, I'll be doing this, I'll be doing that, time frame. You
Yeah.
and to recognize where you are in your journey, and to be able to celebrate your milestones along the way.
Mm.
You're not where
Mm.
you want to be, but you're not where you used to be.
Right.
So you need
Yes.
to celebrate your milestones, because
Definitely.
if we say, I want that million, yes, want that million, but enjoy the journey, enjoy
Right.
the journey towards your goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the minute when you see what comes in is coming in, you're like, oh, this thing is possible. Yes, this thing is possible. Because according to my time frames, I was to turn a millionaire in 2016. But in 2016, I was still fighting estate battles. You see, and I was losing things and all that. But you see, we deceived by time frames, and when you've put your time frame and things are not happening at that time, you tend to give up. And you know, often when people are giving up, at the point of giving up, you find that that was a point where breakthrough was coming, and now a person is saying, I'm tired and all that, and they give up. You know, people
Exactly.
must just be stubborn like myself and you. Be stubborn and say,
Be
look,
stubborn with
like
your dreams. Be stubborn.
this situation, I'm deciding, I'm making a decision that I
Exactly.
am going to be that which God has intended for me to become. I'm not going to become what
Exactly.
this situation wants me to become, but I'm going to become what God has intended for me to become.
Definitely. Definitely.
We are heroes. There's a hero within us.
We we are heroes. We are heroes. And when we look at people around us, when we look at people who have made it even at the age of 65, you have your KFC guy who started KFC
Mm,
65 when he was retiring, you know.
mm.
So you mustn't look at your age and say things are not going to happen.
Yeah,
They are not
yeah,
happening at the time that you want, but acknowledge the process, acknowledge
right.
that things are moving in the
Yeah,
right direction. Yeah,
yeah, yes. And that will give you peace of mind because you know that it is definitely going to happen and you are working towards it. So, what are the key lessons and key takeaways, from the hero that you have been waiting for? What do you hope readers will take away from this powerful book?
okay, the first thing they have to realize the hero within themselves. They have to
Mm,
know that they are masterpiece themselves. They have to
yes.
know themselves. And then also the power of telling your story in a way that it empowers you. It does not
Mm,
disempower you. It's very, very important.
yes.
The, yes, and also the ability to make decisions so that
Mm,
you can move forward, trusting yourself and take responsibility for
yeah,
yourself and
yeah.
stop blaming other people. Those are the core messages to say you are the one. And, sometimes
Mm,
people think it's a bad thing to be responsible. But when you are
mm,
responsible, really, it means that you don't have to wait for anybody.
yeah,
You have everything within yourself to fix your
mm,
situation, you
right.
know?
Mm,
Yes. Yes. So I always say to people, look, it's not your situation. It's your decisions, it's your actions. Everything
mm,
depends on you to move forward, to rescue yourself.
yeah. It is very
Mm.
much important that we learn how to rescue ourselves because you see, in that process of rescuing yourself, you are learning, you are taking lessons that, and those lessons lessons that can help you to actually help others. You know,
Definitely.
in our module of telling your story at on purpose activation and monetization blueprint, that is our module 2. We tell stories, and one of the things that we do there when we are decoding the stories, we are looking at what is the lesson that you have learned as you were going through what you were going through. Because it is that lesson that is very much important. That is why you see most of my students writing books and creating courses and becoming coaches and mentors. is because of the lessons they have learned in their journeys. So it's very much important that we understand that the story that we have been through, the pain that we have been through, the success that we have been through, another person really wants to learn from that. Even from your success, there are stories that you can tell. How you managed to get 5 PhDs when other people
Exactly.
are struggling to even finish one PhD. That's the story of success that you can share with people and they get inspired and motivated to do the same.
Exactly. And when it comes to lessons, I say to people, when you look into your life, you find that you actually have a recycle of problems. Why? Because you are not learning the lesson. The
Right.
lesson, so the
Yeah.
problem will keep on reoccurring until
Mhm.
you've learned something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I say problems of life are like going to school. If you are not
Mm,
passing the subjects, or
mm.
the
You
class, you
repeat.
need to repeat. So the problem comes again in a
Yeah.
different form.
All
So
right.
until you get the
Yeah.
lesson. Yeah.
Until you get the lesson, the problems, the same problem will come in different formats until you learn the lesson. And if you are not learning the lesson, you will continue to go through. It is important. And once you've learned
Exactly.
the lesson and you move forward, you move to the next level, another lesson is coming. And it's not coming in a nice way. It is also coming in the form of a problem that you need to navigate through. I started having peace when I understood that everything works together for a purpose. And if I am able to navigate through, whenever I go through something, I no longer sit and cry. Yes, because I'm a
Yeah.
human being, I will cry, I will feel pain, but next to me is my notebook where I'm documenting everything, and after I've done all of these things for myself, I taught others how to do it so that you can be
Mm,
able to sit down and 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 unpack this thing and say, this thing made me feel like this. You know,
mm,
this is on my module two. When we go through this, before people are it's more about self exploration, self discovery. And what does your story say? What is the message in your story? So, as
mm,
you were going through this particular problem, how did it make you feel? And how did you overcome those feelings? Because at the end of the day, you managed to live. You did not even kill yourself. It means you were able to, to you were able to win. You were able to get out of that situation. So how did it make you feel, and how have you managed to overcome that
mm,
situation? I'm telling you, that class is the most theory class that I have, because we are talking about things that people are going through before we can
mm,
even say what is your purpose. Because after we've gone through this, then we go through the 4 levels of discovering your purpose. And it is
mm,
very much important that we understand that life is a school until
mm,
we get to the point of
mm,
being the students of life and learning from the lessons of life, from the tutorials that life is giving us. We will continue to have the same problem and we will not grow. But if you are growing, if you are able to navigate through and you are able to learn the lessons, then God allows new lessons to come. And when new lessons are
definitely.
coming, they don't just come in a nice platter. Okay, some lessons are coming in a nice way, but more often than not, we have to go through something so that we can learn. Look at me. For me to understand how to decode the story, I had to wrestle with God. I had to fight with God. I thought God does not love me. I thought I'm going through a lot and other people are having fun in life. And then God showed me that, no, Mabel, That is not it. And you have actually not lost all the things that you are saying you have lost. Look at you, look at your knowledge. You have knowledge. And that's when I started the journey of self discovery and say, oh, yes, I do have knowledge. And my knowledge is not only academic. The knowledge that I have does not only come from books, the knowledge that I have comes from life, you know. And I looked at, okay, this is what happened in my life, the good, the bad, the ugly, the successes, the failures. And I was like, all of these things, I needed them in my life so that I can be the reign in your purpose queen that I am today.
Definitely,
The reign
definitely.
in your purpose
And
was not there.
you said something that is very, very important
Mm,
about recognizing what you have. Being a
yes.
hero, one of the greatest aspects is recognizing what you have. And
Mm,
recognizing what you have for yourself, for example, you recognize that even if you've lost uh, maybe a house or
material
property,
things.
you still have knowledge. Knowledge
Mhm,
which is superior than having
mm.
a building. You know, today I was listening to Dr. Manru. He said, Jesus did not leave a building, but he left information.
Wow.
But
Wow.
information is more powerful than the things
Mm,
that we can touch. Is more
mm.
powerful than property because we can, um, transform it and transfer it from generation to generation.
Generation, yes.
You know,
Mm, mm.
and it's what will make the next generation better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Powerful, powerful. And when we say information is powerful, knowledge is powerful, it is truly, truly powerful. Because look at what knowledge has done. Look at what information has done. Jesus left us a lot of information. We are living, we are triumphing, we are conquering through the information that he left us with. If he left us a building, I mean, it was so many years ago, maybe that building would have been, you
Would
know,
have crumbled. Yeah.
yeah, but he left us something. And that is why the Bible says, you know, heaven and earth will pass away, but the word of God will remain, because all of these things that we love, that we are crying for, are just going to get old and crumble and get finished, but God's word will never ever pass away. Oh my goodness, what a conversation. And I know that many of our listeners are eager now to find the hero within themselves. What practical advice would you give someone today that is ready to embark on a journey of self discovery and personal empowerment?
The biggest thing, invest in yourself.
Yes.
Love yourself. Love yourself.
Mm,
Recognize your journey. Do not compare yourself with anybody. You've got
yes.
a different journey. Know your strength. Sit and assess your situation. Just like
Mm,
Mabel, you might have thought, I've lost everything. There's never a time
mm,
when you've lost everything. You have your knowledge.
never.
There's
Mm,
something that is unique about you that you will always possess, that
right.
will always move you forward
Yeah.
so that you can have the life that you want for yourself.
Wow, that is so amazing. That is so powerful. Invest in yourself. There's always something within you, even if you feel like you've lost things, you've lost material things. We never come to a point where we lost everything, honestly speaking. And to be
Mm.
honest, even if you are complaining that you've lost everything, you still have yourself. You didn't lose yourself. You're telling us that you have lost everything, but you are there, you are still existing, you're still having breath. You have not lost your breath. We need to learn to be
Exactly.
grateful, because this is when we are not grateful, that we still have
Mm.
our breath. We don't even know. how we inhale and exhale. We don't know how that magic happens. We are not in control of that, but we are standing
Definitely.
before God and we are complaining that we've lost everything. I mean, God did not spare me when I was complaining, when I was crying. He
Mm,
I wanted it. I felt like Paul when Paul was saying, God removed the thorn
that's all.
that is on my flesh. And God's answer was like something else. He did not remove that thorn, but he just told
Mm,
Paul that when you are weak, that's when you are strong.
when
And I
I'm
was like,
still.
oh my
Mm,
God. That's how God answered me when I was like crying and complaining. I wanted him to to pity me and to show me that he cares. And he said to me, Mabel,
mm,
stand up, because I was rolling on the floor crying. I was trying to pray and I was
mm,
kneeling down trying to pray, but I ended up just crying and rolling on the floor and blaming him for what happened. And,
mm,
instead of he said a lot of things to me that I cannot talk about on the show, but one of them was like, Mabel, stand up
mm,
from that floor. I thought he wanted me to stand up from that floor, but wanted me to stand up from this challenge that I'm facing, stand up and face it like a royal queen and fight
exactly.
my battle.
Exactly.
So
Mm,
God
mm,
does not really, it's not like He does not care about us. He really cares about us. And when
mm,
we are going through something, He wants us to really be strong. That thing is there to make us wiser, stronger, and more powerful.
exactly. And then the other thing is to change perspective. Our perspective
Mm,
is very, very important. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
when you talk about gratitude, Dr. DiMartini says your real gratitude starts when you are grateful
Mm,
for the good things that happen in your life, and you're also
mm.
grateful for the challenges.
Wow.
Yes, because
Grateful for
in
good things and for the
and
challenges.
and for the challenges. Because in the past, it's only when in hindsight that we recognize that, okay, actually, that challenge was important for me, you know.
Yeah.
But at that time when it's happening, you're like crying. But after some time, you look back and you're like, actually, that was important that that happened so that I can find myself here.
Mm, mm.
So if you can learn as fast as you can when a challenge comes, to thank God for it and to say, what should I learn from this? You know,
Yeah.
that's
Sure.
maturity.
That is maturity. This conversation is so awesome, and time is just against us right now. When I'm really, really enjoying, and I do believe that our listeners will also enjoy. I wish we could go on and on and on, you know. So, as both an author and businesswoman, what's next for you? Are there any new projects or goals on the horizon that you are excited about? What's next?
Um, what's next? It's really, really building legacy. And what I understand about building legacy is building knowledge, building people who will be able to stand for themselves, people who will be able to help other people, stand up. Yeah, it's really the next step is building knowledge, it's not about buildings per se, but it's about building knowledge, building academies of mentees where people can be mentored so that the knowledge that we possess can move from generation to generation.
Wow, wow, that is powerful. So when is the book launching?
The book launching, we don't have a fixed date yet, but I'm just thinking maybe end of October.
End of October, roundabout. It's just a
around
tentative.
about. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So,
Yeah.
finally, if you could leave our listeners with one powerful message about discovering their inner hero and stepping into their true purpose, what would it be?
It will be everything you need already exists within you. You
Yeah.
are enough. Believe in yourself and go for it.
Everything you need is within you. You need to believe in yourself and you need to go through self exploration to find that thing, that hero that is within you, the hero that you've been waiting for. Nkanyezi
Mm.
Kabemba, it's been such a pleasure having you on Purpose Conversations. Your book, The Hero You've Been Waiting For, is truly inspiring. And I know that our listeners are going to walk away feeling empowered to discover their inner hero. For those who want to connect with you and learn more about your work, where can they find you?
Well, they can find me on Facebook, find me on the website. Um, yeah, so far, those are the two places.
Okay, what is your handle on Facebook and what is your website address where they can find
The website they can find Somona is www.somonahouse.com, and then they can find me Rose Kabemba on Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nkanyezi. You know, this is a truly, truly amazing. And I believe that your book is going to change many, many lives. And we want our visitors, our listeners, to not forget to grab the copy of your book when it comes out tentatively in October. They should be on the lookout and follow you on Facebook for updates so that they can be able to grab a copy of this book. It is time for them to discover the hero within themselves. And thank you so much for tuning in to all our listeners. Thank you for tuning in to Purpose Conversations. Until next time, keep pursuing your purpose and remember the hero you've been waiting for is already in the inside of you. Nobody's coming. So you better start tapping into that hero within. See you next time. God bless.